Good morning, and welcome to the 33rd Annual Motorola Solutions Foundation Excellence in Public Service Award Breakfast. On behalf of the Civic Federation, which proudly administers and presents the award, we are delighted to have you, all of you here. I'm particularly grateful that you have braved the elements. The one thing that this morning assures is everyone's awake without coffee, but there's coffee. My name is Joe Ferguson, president of the Civic Federation, and since joining the Federation team less than a year ago, this is my second such gathering, my first Motorola Solutions Foundation award event, and I heard last year's breakfast was quite lively, and there was an epic group photo orchestrated by Cook County President Toni Preckwinkle. You may have seen her during the networking reception this morning. I hope we can keep that energy going this morning as we celebrate the amazing Juan Salgado, Chancellor of City Colleges of Chicago. Later in the program, you'll hear about Chancellor Salgado's many achievements and impact on Chicago's next generation, including much anticipated fireside chat with his friend Sylvia Puente. And I am especially interested in hearing from Juan because he has lived through 3 mayors in his position. There are very few people who can say that. I worked through 3 mayors. I'm not sure I lived through them. Juan has, and there is something special that allows that to happen, and we're going to learn about that this morning. At this time, I'd like to recognize past recipients of this award joining us this morning. With us today are Rosie Andolino, Dr. Allison Arwady, former state Rep and Civic Federation member and contributor Julie Hamos. Last year's Raise the Roof honoree, Lynetta Haynes Turner. Lori Healy. Pam McDonough. Karen Norrington Reeves, the ever-inspiring Arnold Randall, Karen Tamley, and I just want to make a quick mention of 2 former honorees who could not be here today because they are answering to the call of duty in the continuation of their public service. CFD Commissioner Annette, always write it down, folks, Annette Nance Holt, and Aviation Commissioner Jamie Rhee. Additionally, we are joined by several of our advisory committee members who unanimously, with energy, selected Chancellor Salgado from this year's very large and diverse list of nominees. The advisory committee members, all past honorees, Chancellor Salgado's bio, and this year's generous sponsors are listed in the digital program, which can be accessed by scanning the QR code at your table. We're also pleased to have an impressive group of present and past public officials with us in the room today. I'd like to recognize them and ask that you please hold your applause until the end. I mean no disrespect since we allowed applause for each of the past honorees, but we want to get this moving along so that we can actually get to the program part. Illinois State Treasurer Michael Frerick, Cook County Board President Toni Preckwinkle, former State Representative Julie Hamos, Office of Illinois State Treasurer Senior Advisor Richard Greenfield, Cook County Commissioner, Cook County Board of Review, Commissioner George Cardenas, State Representative LaShawn Ford, State Senator Adrienne Johnson, Cook County Commissioner Bridget Gaynor, Chicago Alderman Bill Conway, former Director of the Illinois Department of Insurance Rob Muriel. Thank you to all of you for being in attendance, and we express collectively, or I will speak for everyone expressing collectively, their appreciation for your dedication and commitment to serving Chicago and Illinois residents. Thank you. Finally, I would like to introduce this morning's MC to the stage, Veronica Herrero. Veronica works very closely with Chancellor Salgado as the Executive Vice Chancellor, Chief Institutional Advancement Officer, and Chief of Staff. In addition, Veronica is President of the City Colleges of Chicago Foundation and has been part of the 2024 cohort of the Daniel Burnham Fellowship hosted by Leadership Greater Chicago. How she finds time to fill all these roles, you all know, because you all do something similar, but that listing right there says there's something above and beyond happening with the next person who's going to be on the stage here. We're thrilled to have her MC this morning's event. Welcome, Veronica.
Good morning. So thank you, Joe, and thank you for telling me that last year was lively, because if last year was lively, this year will be livelier with all of your help. Thank you. So I am very honored to play a role in this morning's program, recognizing the public service of a person who I deeply admire and respect, City Colleges of Chicago Chancellor Juan Salgado. So the Chancellor for many of us goes by boss, by Chancellor Juan, which he prefers, and for many of us, he is also our hermano. It is wonderful to see so many people here in the audience, including his family, his friends and colleagues, who have worked alongside Chancellor Salgado in service to Chicago communities. Our City Colleges team is here, his fellow community and civic leaders. Thank you all for being here today for our friend and colleague, Juan. So since May 2017, the Chancellor has led Illinois' largest community college system, serving nearly 70,000 students annually across the city of Chicago, most of whom are Black or Latino. Over the course of his tenure, Chancellor Salgado has transformed our institution in every way possible. Though, as many of you know, when the Chancellor started his tenure, things weren't as rosy. Turning around a system of 7 public colleges required a leader who could not only lead with excellence, but with a genuine, unconditional love for public service, unconditional love for our mission, and a clear vision of the impact that the colleges could have on the economic vitality of our beloved city. He knew that as Chicago's most accessible higher education engine of socioeconomic mobility and racial equity, that we had the responsibility to empower Chicagoans, especially from our most marginalized communities, to realize their potential, their dreams to achieve upward mobility, and to build wealth for themselves and their families. Now, it takes a bold and courageous public servant to set a vision like that, but it takes an exceptional leader to be able to successfully execute on such a vision. Chancellor Salgado is clear about his charge to us for us to meet the immediate needs of City Colleges students, whether that's academic, mental health, housing, food, to advocate for them, listen to them, and respond with care, with action and investment. Since the start of his tenure, City Colleges has invested close to $100 million in free college. He expanded the Star Scholarship Program. Yes. He expanded the Star Scholarship Program, which offers free college to eligible Chicago high school graduates, and he launched a program called Future Ready, which offers free short-term credentials that lead to high-demand jobs. Our Chancellor leads with humility, embracing the critical role of partnership. Our partnership with Chicago Public Schools, the Chicago Roadmap, is a national model for K-12 and community college partnerships. City Colleges is a go-to workforce partner in fast-growing fields, from the state's leadership in quantum to being a key partner in the Chicagoland Apprenticeship Network. And we are a talent pipeline for area employers and universities. His strategic leadership and savvy is setting the system up for long-term institutional health. He turned around a $114 million deficit to an operating surplus 5 years running. See, I get to brag for him because he doesn't get to do that. And under his leadership, City Colleges of Chicago enrollment has rebounded. This fall alone, our credit enrollment was up again, 2 times the national average growth in community college enrollment. And from 2021 to 2024, our Black male enrollment has increased 35%. Black female enrollment is up 28%, Latinos 31%, and Latinas are up 17%. Working in public service is without a doubt a true privilege, but it can often also be hard. Me and my colleagues at City Colleges of Chicago are incredibly fortunate to have a leader like Juan, who affirms our passion for public service and our belief in our collective impact that we have on building a stronger and more just city. Even on the most difficult of days, his bottomless energy and his humanity gives us all the fuel to shape the work and the impact we will have tomorrow, next year, and in 5 years. I know that the opportunity that I have to work alongside Juan, our hermano, is special. To have the front row seat to his transformational leadership of the city colleges and to be learning and being mentored by one of the most brilliant, genuine, and authentic public servants out there is an honor and a privilege that I don't take for granted. There is no one who is more deserving of the Motorola Solutions Foundation Excellence in Public Service Award. Felicidades, Chancellor. So thank you all again for being part of this wonderful celebration and for all that you all do for our city. I will be back soon to announce the main event, presenting the award, but first, we must enjoy breakfast. So thank you all for listening, me brag about my boss, and I'll see you soon. You are definitely as lively as you promised me you'd be, and I appreciate that. Thank you. So we hope you enjoyed, or you are enjoying, this delicious breakfast provided by the Four Seasons Hotel team. And before we move on to the next part of the program, I just want to recognize a couple of individuals, actually a few individuals, now that I see one walking, that are here right now. We've got Mayor Lightfoot, who's joined us. And a couple of other friends in the room, Deputy Governor for Education, Martin Torres. And our inaugural Secretary of Department of Early Childhood, Teresa Ramos. So this event is made possible by the longtime partnership and very generous support of the Motorola Solutions Foundation, our leader sponsor. Thank you. And we are pleased to be joined today by the Motorola Solutions Foundation and Motorola Solutions team, including our next speaker and award presenter, Cynthia Yazdi. Cynthia currently serves as Senior Vice President of Communications and Brand and Chief of Staff for Motorola Solutions. So I'm not the only one with multiple titles. She leads global communication and brand efforts for the corporation and leads the office of the chairman and CEO. Cynthia previously led product and business operations for the Asia Pacific and Middle East regions, among many leadership roles in strategy, marketing, and operations with the company and with the Motorola Solutions Foundation. Please join me in welcoming Cynthia Yazdi.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Veronica, for that introduction. I'm so honored to be here today, representing Motorola Solutions and representing the Motorola Solutions Foundation. We are so very, very proud of this award. This award recognizes the essential role that non-elected public servants and really the role of non-elected public servants and really celebrates the incredible work that they do each and every day. Public sector leaders play a very crucial role. They make sure the residents of Illinois have the services they need to work, to live, to play, and to be safe in our neighborhoods. The work they perform is often unseen. It's invisible. And yet we rely on them every single day, and especially in those times that are difficult and challenging. Our public servants embody this special concoction of can-do attitude and empathy. Our public servants are driven. They have an unwavering commitment to do what's best for each of us. And communities are all the better for their leadership and for your leadership. So this morning, we're recognizing an amazing public servant. Our honoree is a leader in education and a graduate of the community college system. He received an associate's degree from Moraine Valley Community College in the southwest suburbs of Chicago, followed by a bachelor's degree from Illinois Wesleyan University and a master's in urban planning from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Our honoree serves as Chancellor of City Colleges of Chicago, as Veronica mentioned, overseeing Chicago's community college system, which serves more than 70,000 students across 77 colleges, 75% of which are Black and Latino. This, under his leadership, our honoree has also been recognized nationally for his work, including being named a 2015 MacArthur Fellow. Yep. Among his civic commitments, he serves as a board member for the Obama Foundation and a Class C director for the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. It is my absolute honor and privilege to award the Motorola Solutions Foundation's Excellence in Public Service Award to Chancellor Juan Salgado, City Colleges of Chicago. See, I knew it was going to be spicy. Juan's drive to succeed and his commitment to helping those in need has inspired so many. And we share in his belief that education is the great equalizer, providing the promise of tomorrow. So now, let's hear from others as they reflect on the many, many, many accomplishments of Juan Salgado.
I am Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, and I want to welcome you all to the 33rd Motorola Solutions Foundation Excellence in Public Service. The Excellence in Public Service Award was created to honor and recognize those making a difference in the city through leadership, teamwork, and innovation. And that is why I am so proud to congratulate this year's award recipient, City Colleges of Chicago Chancellor Juan Salgado. For over 20 years, Chancellor Salgado has worked to ensure a quality education and better economic opportunities for those in communities that are often overlooked and left behind. As Chancellor of City Colleges, he not only oversees our thriving city college system, but he has helped to increase graduation rates to a record high, launched numerous initiatives, and partnered with businesses and organizations to give students the best chances to succeed. I am so proud of the work that Chancellor Salgado has done in Chicago, and there is no one more deserving of this year's award. Once again, congratulations to Chancellor Juan Salgado for his outstanding efforts and dedication to service and to the people of Chicago. And thank you to Motorola Solutions for your ongoing efforts and work. I have no doubt that your work will have a positive impact on countless individuals for generations to come.
It's my pleasure to contribute to today's event as we honor the recipient of the 33rd Motorola Solutions Foundation Excellence in Public Service Award. Now that, my dear friends, is a mouthful. The dedicated and most deserving Juan Salgado, the Chancellor of the City of Chicago. I had a great fortune not only to work with Juan, but get to know him during my tenure as mayor, but also to select him to head the Chicago Community College system. When I was mayor, as you all know, I put a lot of effort into our community colleges, not only modernizing a number of the buildings that hosted well over 70,000 students, but redesigning them around the major industries in the city of Chicago so each school supported a sector, and then made also community college the Chicago Star Scholarship, the first city ever that if you got a B average, community college was free. Juan was a key part of building that into an example that other cities use to measure themselves against. His dedication and the way I got to know Juan was his dedication to education through the high school on the west side of the city of Chicago. He's never, ever forgotten where he came from, why he loves the city, and why he thinks the next generation should be built on the shoulders of all of us. He is committed to making sure that the community colleges of the city of Chicago is the way many kids from different parts of our city punch their ticket into the middle class. And his passion for education, his passion for the future, and his passion for the kids comes through with his excitement every day. And I have not only seen Juan contribute, we've also, in my mayor's office, worked on things together. But he brings something that is not just in the resume. And that's effort, and it's kind of an understanding of the students that make up our community college, and also the adults who go back to there for punching up their skills so they can get to the next ladder in their lives and being able to provide for their families. So Juan, I can't think of anybody more worthy of earning this recognition. Congratulations, Juan.
He has a big heart, and I think he genuinely is helping young people and people in the colleges or throughout his career, because that's where he comes from. That's what he cares about.
He is first and foremost a servant leader, and a servant leader is someone who cares about the folks they lead more than they care about the needs of themselves.
His commitment and his passion, he lets it show. He doesn't show it any more profoundly, I think, than when he's around students.
Juan is someone who is only ever trying to do the right thing. His angle is, how do I help people move one step forward?
He's really enthusiastic about the work that he does. I mean, that's what always sticks with me.
Juan is a lovely, warm, empathetic human being. He's just a real joy to work with.
He is incredibly bold and committed and moved by love. I met Juan about 20 years ago. We were both young, and we were both working really hard to provide high-quality services and make connections for folks in our communities to great jobs. He was a mentor back then. He is all in for students, for community, for the city. He appreciates the privilege of doing the kind of work that we do, and it comes across in every interaction.
Juan and I are friends. We're co-creators, co-conspirators. He's someone whose advice I rely on explicitly. Our lives have intersected in very Chicago ways for the last 20 years. The great thing about Juan is a combination of fierce intelligence, deep commitment to mission and breaking down barriers for people, but also a real pragmatism of having grown up here. He knows our city, he knows how it works, and he understands how to put people in the right places to make them be able to grasp their opportunity. And to me, that's a pretty fierce combo.
First met Chancellor Juan Salgado when I became chairman of the board of the city colleges. Juan really has a high regard for the role community colleges play. And it's not just intellectual, I think it's emotional. I think part of that is the fact that he's a product himself of community colleges, and he knows what that meant to him. And he's talked to me about his childhood, being in school. As he said, he wasn't the most stellar student all the time in high school, so he knows that path.
I think I met Juan Salgado when he was head of Instituto del Progreso Latino, and that organization, that not-for-profit, had a high school focused on careers in healthcare. It was a very impressive place, and of course, as a high school teacher, I was all for investing in our young people. His commitment to the community colleges has been important not just to the city and the county, but to all of the young people who've had an opportunity to receive a higher education as a result of his good work.
Well, first of all, I'm a huge fan of Juan's and a huge admirer of his. He's been such an incredible leader. What stands out to me about Juan is his enthusiasm for the work, his enthusiasm for helping others, his commitment to our city in general, his humility, his integrity, and just the great kindness that he brings to the work that he does.
He's a difference maker, he's authentic, he's empathetic. He's a navigator of bureaucracies. It's no small thing to thrive in 3 different Chicago mayoral administrations. There's a concept Penny and I have, we call it the excellence to arrogance ratio. And Juan Salgado's excellence to arrogance ratio is as high as I know.
I just think he's a fundamentally great guy. He's a great connector. When you're talking to him, he's very present with you in conversations, and you just know that he has such a great big heart for the students and their challenges, and doing everything he can to really provide education to a student base that needs it.
Congratulations, Juan.
Congratulations, Juan. I couldn't be more happy for you.
Congratulations on winning this award. It's fantastic. It's a great honor to you.
Juan, congratulations. Well deserved. Keep up the great work.
Congratulations, Juan. I am thrilled that you're being honored and that your work is being recognized in this way.
Juan, congratulations, and I'm so proud to call you my friend.
I know for a fact that your humility probably makes you uncomfortable receiving this, but I want to congratulate you and I want to thank you for allowing all of us to have the opportunity to express our deep gratitude to you.
It is my honor and privilege to congratulate Juan Salgado, the 33rd recipient of the Motorola Solutions Foundation's Excellence in Public Service Award. Congratulations. I'd like to invite Sylvia Puente, the Executive Director of the Latino Policy Forum. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, something about that little humility going on there, right, Juan, that makes this a little difficult. But let me just say, I know that when I talk to young people, I say, we gotta let them know what we're good at, and we gotta let them know our gifts. So I am so happy that you've been able to live your gifts.
I just want to say what a treat it is to be up here with you, you know? And so, you know, when I got the call from Joe, they were looking for me, and you're the one that said, I have his number, I'll find him. You know?
He got a little scared when he heard it was Joe.
I was like, Joe Ferguson, I'm sorry. He said, oh my gosh, no, he's not the Inspector General anymore. He's at the Civic Federation. I do want to talk to him.
So thank you. We're just going to have a little conversation here. And so really, Juan, could you have imagined, you know, we literally go way back to when we were sitting next to each other in offices at the Resurrection Project. You know, I'm going to say it this way, a quarter of a century ago. It does make me feel a little old, right? So what attracted you way back then to that organization? And what are you most proud of while you were working there as it relates to community building? And a lot of I know you had a role prior to that, but what attracted you to this career initially in the nonprofit sector?
Yeah, so I left graduate school, you know, super inspired. I was doing volunteer work while I was in graduate school in a community very far south from here, East St. Louis, Illinois. Just left there with a desire to do more work in community. But what attracted me to Resurrection was I sent letters and I kind of stalked leaders in Chicago that I thought, you know, I wanted to be around. And one of them answered my call, you know, and not just answered my call, but actually sat down with me and treated me fully human. That's Raul Raimundo. He's standing right here. He's at the Resurrection Project. You know, in the community too, you got a lot of people with a lot of egos and everything else, and this guy's just sat down and, you know, treated me fully human, and I thought, geez, I want to work with him one day, and sure enough, I did. So what attracted me was that. I think, you know, the proud thing is actually something we worked on together. Mm-hmm. So you were hired, we worked together at Resurrection Project, okay? Sylvia was hired to be the first leader of community planning.
Yeah, it was a pilot of the New Communities Initiatives.
Yeah.
That LISC did for many years.
It was awesome. It was like, you know, if you think about today, there are community plans in communities all across the city of Chicago. This was the first effort to do a community plan. I was the community organizer. You were leading the New Communities Initiative, I thought it was what it was called. And that was a community with self-determination. Mm-hmm. You know, organizing itself, understanding there's a lot of market forces, and making sure that despite whatever's happening in the city, we got a plan for our community, and our voice is going to be matched with our strategy.
Right.
And I love that. I thought, oh, okay, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, those were really fun days. And from there, you went to go be CEO of Instituto Progreso Latino, right? Another major institution on the southwest side of the city. And during that time, one of his side activities was really becoming a national immigrants' rights leader as well, for those of you that didn't know that. But what really inspired you there? And you know, you did so much at Instituto. It really has become a major education institution in our city. But so what are some of the things there that empowered residents on the southwest side of the city?
Yeah. So when I was at Instituto, I spent most of my time speaking in Spanish, you know, rather than English. And my sisters would be very surprised. By the way, thanks to the team from Motorola. You shared my name is John, which is appropriate because my grandmother calls me Johnny, okay? There's a backstory to that. But when I was at Instituto, you know, the heart and soul, you know, of a community, the heartbeat of a community, you know, you really feel it, you sense it, you live it on a day-to-day basis. We had something we'd say, you know, la educación es el poder y la libertad de vivir y gozar lo mejor que este país tiene que ofrecer. You know, education is the power and freedom to live and enjoy the best that this country has to offer. The power to provide for your families and ensure a better quality of life. And that was the organization's expression for something that, you know, people had left their home countries to get a part of, a better quality of life through education. People left their mothers, you know, the places that they love, the people that they love. But in order to make a new beginning and a new opportunity. And so we had the chance at Instituto to, honor that, belief, and that commitment and that journey with something powerful called, an educational tool. And whether you're somebody that, didn't read or write in your own native language, you could actually, when you learn the language, you could read the signs on the bus to help you get somewhere. You can get a slightly better job, or you can get a career through a partnership we had with Civic. So we were, able to meet the thirst that our community has, for education and a better quality of life. My father, who passed a month ago, and
so
I
sorry.
remember him dearly,
Yeah.
so I'm going to talk about him. He always say, son, what I need is a good paying job, one that can afford a better life for you, and what you need to do is get yourself a good education, because that's why I'm here.
And Juan, in doing that, I mean, you mentioned it, but I think it's just so important to highlight, it wasn't just the alternative high school and the high school, but it was taking parents, people like your parents, who didn't have that quality education, and giving them the tools so that literally, as you said, they could read.
Yeah.
How many thousands of people has Instituto impacted?
Yeah, and still does. Karina Ayala Bermejo is here today.
She's
here. She's, peeled up the mantle, But yeah, fundamentally, if you believe every learner has the capacity to learn and grow, so then miraculous things happen. They're actually not miraculous. People put a lot of effort into, their education. And so, I remember, the vivid images I have, right? The gentleman in the bathroom coming right from work, splashing water on his face, because he was going to learn the language. And he had just come from a 12-hour shift, right? Or the dad who was dropping off his wife with the two kids in the car, as I was leaving the building to go home, right, at 7 o'clock at night, and he's there knowing that for the next 2 to 3 years, he's going to be holding up the fort for her to get ahead and become a nurse. And sure enough, she became a nurse. So I just, I walked away with a fundamental belief, and lived a fundamental experience where human beings can achieve many, many things if we properly support them.
If we support them and we give them that opportunity, right? I also remember that during that time, if I'm not mistaken, Instituto piloted something here which allowed people from Mexico to get their high school education with the same curriculum they would have had it. And you also, so you were working with a whole range of family members.
Yeah, we work with the Mexican government, we work with city colleges, we worked with, I love to partner, as you know. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Well, in this city, we don't do anything alone, and we know that collaboration is so important. And so how did that set you up, Juan, in terms of, leading you to the community colleges? And before I dive into that, Joe said that you've worked for 3 mayors, and I think that Mayor Lightfoot was acknowledged, and she's here, and one of them. So what's your secret sauce? How have you survived 3 mayors?
Every time period's a little different. I do want to take the opportunity to thank Mayor Manuel for hiring me and for providing me a great governance with Chair Walter Massey, who was my chair for 6 years. Yeah, who's also here. So
Chair
Walter,
Massey.
thank you. We don't thank our leaders enough, by the way. Especially our mayors. And so I really want Mayor Lightfoot to please stand, Mayor Lightfoot, because the city of Chicago owes you great gratitude and great thanks. Woo-hoo! Most of my tenure was with Mayor Lightfoot through a pandemic, through a racial uprising, and she was so very supportive of the work that we do. And I want to thank Mayor Johnson because he's also working to accelerate the work that we've been doing. You work to create something that you can, really, grow its impact. Mayor Johnson is very intent on doing that. And I had a dynamic duo before of Walter and Beth, and now I got a dynamic duo of, Katya and Reverend Hatch, right? So we also have really good governance. So my answer to the question is, it's about good governance. And, mayors setting up institutions in a manner where they're well-governed. And if they're well-governed, they'll choose good leaders, they'll support good leaders, and those good leaders will do good work, right? So there's nothing magic about what I'm doing. I was fortunate to have very good governance, and I'm fortunate to have good governance today.
And you've got that good governance one, but it was a leap to go from running clearly a major nonprofit institution, but going to running one of the largest school systems in the nation, right? Mm-hmm. So what was it that drew you to that? What do you feel that Instituto was a training ground for that? And talk a little bit more about that transition and what it was like.
Yeah, so I applied 2 days before the application closed.
Wait, and he was selected after a national search, right? So it wasn't like the mayor just looked in the backyard, our backyard, I understand.
Yeah, and I want to thank Melanie Boutron, who's here, who was on the search committee, who was the student trustee on the search committee, okay? So her voice was like, triple. Here's the thing, right? I believe in community colleges, deeply. All my brothers and sisters, I have, 6 in our family, we all went through community college. That's how much we believe in it, right? But also it was and is today the most consequential institution, to local communities that we have in the city of Chicago. If you look at any goal that we want to achieve as it relates to, being the city that we can all be proud of, one that's, inclusive, where opportunity abounds and everyone has a part of it, the city that we want to have, not the city, we don't have that yet, okay? Mm-hmm. This is the institution that can make that happen. So I understood that, and quite frankly, there are severe limitations when you're running a non-for-profit. Mm-hmm. And so in the public sector, you can make big impact. You can make scalable impact. You can decide to grow things that are working, and advance things that are working. And so I was, quite attracted, and I had ideas. I had ideas about what the colleges could be doing, the partnership with the public schools. I thought, man, we could do so much more there, right? The work, and I want to recognize Tony Johnson from our union, because it's our 1600 union, which is our faculty and our staff, right? Mm-hmm. I thought the work we were doing to advance, being closer to the economic responsiveness of our city was really important, but we were doing it in the wrong way. We were talking about closing things down rather than expanding things that needed to be expanded. And the leadership of the union and others had a voice, and I thought I want to join that in my own way to make sure that this institution continues to thrive, on an ongoing basis. And so, I had ideas. So when you have ideas as a leader, it's really hard to say no to an opportunity. But I was scared. Let me just tell you, scared. Yeah. I was scared because the politics.
Yeah.
The politics scared the heck out of me, boy. And to be honest with you, it still does,
Okay, he's dealt with 3 mayors, the unions, and transformed city colleges. I think that's quite a bit.
Yeah, but a little bit of fear is always good.
Yeah, it motivates you.
A little bit of fear causes you to be respectful. But I don't know that world well enough. So.
Well, Juan, you've got a room full of business leaders here, and obviously a lot of friends and allies in the room. What do you want to say to the business leaders about how they can contribute to the city colleges, and most importantly to the students that are served, in terms of helping prepare them for their future and their next stages of life?
Make it concrete,
How do we do that?
I'll give you 3 practical ways you could do that, right? One is, you heard from Bridget, the apprenticeship work that we're doing. Hire our students, exceptionally talented people. You're sitting right next to Red Richardson, who was an apprentice at Aon, who's now growing in the field of insurance. He'll be a CO or something, in the future, right? So hire our students, for sure, is one of them. Mentor our students. You know, mentor is another one. So we work very closely with 1 Million Degrees. We have a mentorship program where you could sign up tomorrow and mentor our students. And then the third is, contribute to our ability to support our students. So we've been doing a lot in terms of student support.
Okay, so let's put out the taglines. What's the foundation website? Where do they call to mentor?
Oh, I'm so bad at that stuff. So,
okay, Veronica, when you come back up
Veronica,
here.
when she comes back up, can give all the taglines and websites. I'm really bad at that stuff.
And you heard that. You can all mentor, and that's something I know we all have the capacity to do. So, they've asked me to bring it to a close, so I obviously just can't say enough. I mean, Veronica used the word hermano. Juan really is my brother. But I really would be remiss if we also didn't acknowledge his family who's here. So please stand up, his wife Letty and two of his beautiful children. Because he's very modest, but I know Letty is the backbone. And we know that there are some students here. So students that are here, and I think some of them are actually alums, former students that are here as well, I understand.
Marvin, Marnay.
Please.
Joseph Rice.
Yeah.
All right.
So thank
David.
you. Okay. And Lucas, the chancellor knows these students and these alum by name in this very, very large system, which again just speaks to his heart and to his commitment and to his leadership, to his soul and his light. Gracias, Juan.
Muchas gracias. Que Dios te bendiga.
And we have one more piece of business, one more piece of business, so please stick around. We'll be ending shortly. Thank you.
So that was really wonderful. It's pretty special to see two very longtime friends and amazing leaders having a conversation that's so intimate. So just thank you, Silvia, for leading that and for bringing out some of the best of the Chancellor. So let's give another round of applause to Chancellor Salgado for receiving the Motorola Solutions Foundation. Yeah, thank you. Before we wrap up the event, I would like to take a moment to share some gratitude to those people whose efforts made today possible. First, the Civic Federation's longtime partner and leader sponsor, the Motorola Solutions Foundation. The generous partner and advocate event sponsors, the Civic Federation Board of Directors, with a special shout out to Board Chair Jill Wallowitz and Board Member Monica Mueller. The support and productions teams from PJH and Associates and Mimi Productions, and the Civic Federation staff who are sprinkled throughout the room and may be sitting at your table right now. Yep, thank you, everybody. And if you like what you saw this morning, or you are interested in getting involved in the Civic Federation, please let the Federation staff know. As a reminder, there are QR codes on your table where you can donate to support the excellent work of the Civic Federation. And if you would like to nominate one of Illinois' many exemplary non-elected public officials for next year's event, stay tuned for the call for nominations over the summer. And don't get freaked out if you get a call from Joe Ferguson. On your way out today, please feel free to take the centerpieces home with you. And thank you again for being here today to celebrate Chancellor Juan Salgado. It's been great to serve as your MC today. And this is the last time you're going to see me up here for the day. But I will now turn it over to our other dear friend, Donovan Pepper, Civic Federation past chair, to close out this morning.
All right. Thank you so much, Veronica. I appreciate that. And thank you all. And I know this is one last piece of business we have to do, and I know that I'm keeping you between minus 10 degrees outside, so hopefully you can stay here for a little longer. But again, I want to personally thank, again, Chancellor Salgado, Juan, for this honor. You certainly are a deserving honoree, and I was pleased to be a part of the selection committee with everyone else to unanimously approve you. Unfortunately, this morning, I have the task to share some somber news about one of our own Civic Federation members, our team members. Some of you may already know this, but at the end of the month, Sarah Wetmore, our longtime Vice President of Research and Policy, will be leaving us to pursue new opportunities. Many of us have known about her plans to depart since earlier this year. However, Joe and the board leadership asked her specifically to stay on to support the work of the Federation and to particularly lead our strategic plan development efforts. And I think many of you are aware already that we have completed that initial strategic plan review, that design and development of that for the Federation going forward under Joe's leadership. However, we are so thankful for Sarah's leadership and her guidance through this process and for extending her time with us. It certainly, we could not have done it without her. However, we have many reasons to thank Sarah for during her 18-year career with the Federation. Very true. Sarah has brought impressive poise, grace, intelligence, and institutional leadership during her time here, and especially under recent sad circumstances of Lawrence Masal's unexpected passing, and while I served as the chairman of the board. During that time, Sarah took on the additional responsibilities of acting president of the Federation, where she seamlessly led and maintained the operations and continued the long legacy of the Federation's unmatched leadership position as the premier advocate for sound fiscal policies at the state, city, and county levels of government. In addition to that, she was a great advocate and confidant to the board during our search process for our new president, which ultimately culminated in us bringing Joe Ferguson to us. And for that, we are truly immensely grateful. Thank you. Lastly, since the theme of today is higher education, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that my oldest son is a third-year student at Knox College in downstate Illinois. Some of you may know that Sarah, Lawrence Masal, and even some of you know that current Senate President Don Harmon are all distinguished alum of that organization, that college. And I know that it's because of their encouragement and sharing their positive experiences about attending this small liberal arts college is why my son chose to attend there. And so we have Sarah to thank for my son going there. So thank you, Sarah. But I bring that up this morning, not just to thank Sarah for her support in that effort, but just 2 nights ago, Sarah and I attended a reception hosted by Knox College here in Chicago, which was actually a kickoff for their campaign, a capital campaign, which is actually entitled Venture Boldly. So as I was thinking about that title, Venture Boldly, I think that's the perfect metaphor for Sarah's future as she departs the Civic Federation, because we all know that she will venture boldly and will be an incredible asset to any organization that she chooses to join. With that said, I'm going to invite you up, Sarah. On behalf of the board, the staff, and the long team members and trustees of the Federation, I want to present you with these, I believe, 18 stemmed roses representing your 18 years with the Federation. And we certainly wish you the best of luck in your new endeavors. And you know, Sarah, that you will always be a part of the Civic Federation family. So again, I want to thank you again for your wonderful years of service. Let's please give Sarah a warm round of applause. And with that, we are adjourned. So take care, everyone.